I'd like to ask, what implications does the recent Brexit deal have on your investee companies? And I'd like to ask that question to Warren.
Thank you. Well, thankfully, we've seen a limited impact due to Brexit. However, we're conscious that there are bound to be a variety of unintended consequences that we need to give a lot of caution to. The UK has been working hard to build an innovation economy for many years. Despite this, interestingly, the UK government is considerably underinvested in the innovation sector as much as some of our former EU members. After this divorce, it remains unclear if many of the EU agencies and organizations that have supported some of our portfolio and others will continue to fill the void that it seems the US government has yet to prepare for.
Thanks, Warren. David, what implications has Brexit had on your portfolio?
I think it's depended upon what the trading position of those portfolio businesses are. So businesses which are physically moving goods across borders have had a very different impact to businesses where they are just trading service-based businesses. So the ones that are physically moving goods across borders have had to adapt trading and supply chains in a way. For example, like investing on mainland Europe in some places. So there's been a more friction, I think, in the very short term, particularly with a lack of clarity in some cases over exactly how goods should or shouldn't move. They tend to be a much smaller proportion overall of venture capital trust portfolios, as they are of ours, and I think of others here. For those businesses as well, which are service-based businesses, there's definitely been a movement of people over time. And what we've seen, particularly in financial services, we have seen a little bit of relocation of UK-based jobs onto mainland Europe in the short term. I think that's just to enable them to be able to continue to trade. Hopefully future growth will see more UK-based growth come out of it as well. So I think those are at the micro levels what we've seen as the impact. I think the more the medium term, I think, will depend upon how the UK responds to the larger regulatory issues like the movement of state aid and how that frees up further investment into UK economies. And I think that's something that we want to look out for the end of 2021 and then going into 2022 next year.
Thanks very much, David. Clearly, there are long-term implications of this. Stuart, what implications does the recent Brexit deal have on your invested companies?
Yes, Annabelle, I think virtually every company in the portfolio is going to have to adapt to the new environment post-Brexit to a greater or lesser extent. The great thing is that early stage companies run by entrepreneurs are great at adapting. So if you throw up a challenge, they'll find a way of dealing with it. Like David, it's different depending on the type of business. But what we've seen, for example, for companies dealing in physical goods, for companies which were previously importing some of their supplies from overseas, they've had to restructure their supply lines and shorten them so that they're now sourcing products primarily from UK companies. And then on the other hand, businesses which were previously supplying Europe out to the UK have had to set up or enlarge their European operations so that all EU customers can be serviced from the EU without having to transport goods across borders. So that's just a couple of examples of adaptations for companies dealing in physical goods. I think for businesses which are more knowledge intensive, developing software and other business to business tech enabled services, one of the challenges is going to be access to talent. Those businesses have historically relied a lot on very talented people coming from EU companies and being able to work in the UK. And that's clearly going to be more difficult. So I think over time, again, we'll see adaptation possibly with those businesses setting up hubs in Europe where EU nationals can work. Because clearly, if you're working in a tech business, you don't all need to be physically gathered in the same place. You can work remotely. So I think we'll see a transfer of some of those knowledge-intensive jobs to the EU to address that potential shortage here.